Sunday night, the WWE superstars went back into the Thunderdome for one of the most dangerous events of the year, Hell in a Cell. This year's pay-per-view featured 3 matches taking place inside the super-sized cage. The WWE title was one of the belts on the line when Drew McIntyre took on Randy Orton again. We also saw Roman Reigns put the Universal Championship on the line inside Hayek when he faced Jey Uso in a rematch from Clash of Champions. Bayley put the SmackDown Women's Championship up against her former best friend and tag team partner, Sasha Banks. We also saw Otis defend the Money in the Bank contract against The Miz, while Jeff Hardy took on Elias. Let's take a look at everything that happened at Hell in a Cell. A late addition to the card was the kickoff match between R-Truth and Drew Gulak for the 24/7 Championship. The stipulation said there could be no outside interference. Gulak addressed Little Jimmy directly and pretended to interact with him while Truth looked on with a confused look on his face. Gulak pretended to kick his opponent's imaginary friend out of the ring and an angry Truth tackled him to the mat. After taking some punches in the corner, Gulak brought Truth down and put him in a submission. The champ kicked out of a sunset flip, but Gulak put him right back into a submission to keep him grounded. Truth started to make a comeback and used several of John Cena's signature moves. He failed to hit the double A but did hit a lie detector for a 2 count. Gulak met him on the top rope for a superplex, but Truth countered and won with a jackknife cover. Analysis. The first few moments of this match were an unsuccessful attempt at comedy. What followed was a decent contest between 2 great performers who have been pigeonholed as comedic characters. There were tons of other options WWE had for the kickoff, but fans have been asking the company for months to make the 24/7 title mean more. This was a small step in the right direction. Roman Reigns vs. Jey Uso Universal title. They stared at each other from across the ring and talked a little trash. Roman Reigns said he only changed because he had to, and Jey Uso said he just did it for the title. They locked up and the challenger was taken down right away with a shoulder block. A confident Reigns hit a quick suplex and paced around until Uso got back to his feet. The challenger began to build some momentum and hit a couple of suicide dives. He kept talking to the big dog as he threw him into the cage wall. When they got back into the ring, Reigns drilled him with a spear. He tried to bring a chair into the ring but Uso caught him with a dropkick. Before he could follow up, the champion nailed him with a second spear. He tried to hit a third but Uso countered and hit a superkick and a superfly splash. Uso grabbed a leather strap from under the ring and used it to whip Reigns across the back. Somehow, the tribal chief got to his feet and hit a third spear. Uso said he couldn't breathe but refused to quit. The title holder picked up the strap and began unloading on his cousin. They ended up strapped together and Uso began building up a head of steam. He ended up choking Reigns out with the strap but was unable to get him to say "I quit." Surprisingly, Reigns applied a guillotine and choked Uso out. He begged him to quit but Jey refused. Even Paul Heyman pleaded with USO to quit so this would stop. The tribal chief dragged USO to the apron and hit the drive-by dropkick. He put the steel steps next to Jay's head and kicked it as hard as he could. The ref wanted to stop the match, but Reigns threw him out of the ring. Several officials came down and tried to stop him, but he locked them all in with him. After chasing them out of the ring, Reigns yelled at his cousin that this was all his fault. He was about to crush Jay's head with the steps when Jimmy Uso ran down and got in his way. He called Jay by his real name, Josh, as he begged Reigns to stop. The big dog broke down crying and sat down next to his cousins. Then he grabbed Jimmy and choked him out as he held Jay's hand. Jay quit to save his brother and finally end the match. Reigns stood over them with the title held high before leaving with Heyman. AFA and Sika were on the stage to congratulate the champion on his win. Analysis. This was never going to be a technical showdown or an exchange of exciting spots. This was all about the story being told between the two individuals in the ring. Being able to hear every word they said to each other made everything feel so much more personal. It added weight to an already heavy situation. Some of the same beats were repeated from their previous encounter, but the brutality of this bout made it so much more impactful. This is one of the best storylines WWE has done in 2020, and it's because USO and Reigns have made it special. Was this the best Hayek match ever? No, but it may have been the best story told inside it. This was what sports entertainment is all about. The physicality was just as important as the tale. Elias performed a new song before Jeff Hardy made his way to the ring. They started with a couple of basic lockups and clean breaks before the musician hit a knee to the body and a hard right hand to take his opponent off his feet. They took the fight out of the ring, and Hardy was able to turn the tables. He missed a jump off the steps and crashed into the barricade. Elias kept the upper hand for a few minutes and came close to winning with a sit-out powerbomb. Hardy hit Whisper in the wind for a 2 count and then dropped Elias with a twist of fate. The singer rolled out of the ring to avoid a swanton. Hardy stopped him from using the guitar as a weapon and turned it on Elias, getting himself disqualified in the process. Grade C+. Analysis. It was going to be hard for anyone to follow Reigns versus USO, so Hardy and Elias were fighting an uphill battle before the ref even called for the bell. We will try to be fair when judging this bout. As good as Hardy and Elias are, this did not feel like the best they could do. This bout would have made more sense on an episode of Raw, especially with the disqualification finish. This feud is obviously going to continue, so at least this ending prevented either man from having to eat a pin right away.